What's going on, everybody? I'm just out here in the garage today. I'm gonna start working on the Ninja again. I think my main focus for the bike today is I'm gonna start removing the fairings off of it, and I'm gonna start taking off the mirrors and whatnot. I don't know if I necessarily need to take the fairings off, but it'll be good to just do a little bit of inspection in there and have them off to get a good, better look in there. And plus it also, I might end up doing another oil change on it, so it'll be good to have that off anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna start doing that. And I'll get some close-up videos of that happening, and we'll go from there. Yeah, the nice thing about these older bikes is everything's bigger, right? Like you look at the signals here. There's this massive, like, just nasty piece of plastic, but that right there makes things a little bit easier to get this ugly thing off, right? I think I'm gonna take off the rear foot pegs there as well. Try and figure out how to get the turn signals off here, and I'm also going to take the mirrors off, but it looks like it's a pretty easy thing to do because the bolts for them are just under here. So I mean, that's pretty simple to take off. It's a very heavy bike, so anything that I can take off for the track is going to make it a lot more enjoyable. These signals here are just, yeah, they're ugly, right? And I don't need them because I'm not signaling on the track, so that's going to be fine. Yeah, so I'm going to have to get the front fender off here because that's obviously something that needs to come off. It's all connected into the forks and whatnot. If I'm going to be taking the forks out, I'll have to get those off. We'll have to get the brake rotors off as well. I mean, obviously it's on the other side, but I'm just showing you one side for the ease of just showing you. Yeah, take off my fork diapers. That's a definite must. Yeah, so I'm getting a stand. Someone's loaning me a front stand, and then I can just, as I said, I can take the front wheel off here as well, and get the brake rotors out, and then the forks will slide down. So it's a relatively simple process to get them out. I've never done it before, so it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be harder to put them back in than it is to take them out. Taking something apart is easier. Putting it back together, remembering how it goes back together, completely different story. So yeah, but for this video here, I think I'm going to start by taking off the fairings. It's a pretty simple thing to do. You have a bunch of screws and a bunch of bolts that are on the side of the bike. Like you have these guys here that are conjoining the two different pieces of fairing. And then you got these guys right here that are connecting it to the frame of the bike. A couple of them there. And we've got some down here as well. And then one there. And then that's pretty much the same on both sides. So I'm going to start by removing those and getting the fairings off. And then I'm going to take all the mirrors off and start working on the turn signals and the wiring that goes to the turn signals, because I'm just going to tape it up in there and don't need it, so get rid of it. Yeah, so I'll probably end up just doing a little time lapse of that. I just wanted to show you, it's just as simple as taking a few bolts off, and then the panel pops off, and yeah, good to go from there. Alright, well, I got the fairings off the bike. That was quite a chore. Well, it's the first time taking them off on this bike, so it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. But now I've got them off, so that's a good thing. I had a mouse building a mouse like a nest in there. So I mean, winter things in Canada, the mice try and find somewhere warm, and they tend to go inside the bikes. So I'm glad that I found that, so he's not going to chew up my wires. I definitely don't want that to happen. So yeah, I got the front fairings off and the side fairings off, and now I have like complete access to the front forks and to be able to get the forks out. And so yeah, so I'll just give you a quick shot of the bike here. She's starting to look a little bit naked. Quite a different looking bike without the front fairing on it. It was like a total of, I think it was like four or six bolts and screws that I had to take out to get it off. So I'm actually surprised with the little amount that was holding it on. The 2001 models have this bracket that comes up like this, that comes up off of the frame here, and then it comes up over like this, and it holds the top of the fairing on there, and then the rest of it's bolted to the speedometer. And yeah, like that's literally all that's holding it on. There was one wire here that's connected to the headlights and to the little running light that's out here on the front, and then there's a tube for I guess the forced air stuff where the intake comes in. Not sure what it does, but it's there. Had to take it off. There's a couple covers that were covering these guys right here for the air intake. And yeah, so got the front fairing off. I also got the side fairings off the bike and get a better access to the motor and everything. I just put all the screws back in their location because if it's going to be apart for a little while, I don't want to lose them. So at least then I can remember where they go, because I know what'll end up happening. I'll just end up putting them in a bag and, oh, where'd that screw come from? So that's just a little trick that I've always done with things when I take it apart, is just put the screw back where I took it out from, and that way I don't forget where to put it. Well, in the next video, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the front fender off. I'm going to get my fork diapers off, and then eventually I can lift the bike up once I get the stand. I'm still waiting for the front stand. What happens is it comes across the front of the tire and just goes in here. There's a little tiny there's a hollow tube in the middle of the triple tree and the I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah, so you just put it in there. It lifts the front of the bike up, and then that way I can take these bolts out. There's one bolt here, or two bolts here, and then there's one or two at the top as well, which I'm gonna have to take out, and then the forks just slide out. But in order to do that, I have to get the fender off. I'm gonna have to take off the brake calipers here and take the front wheel off, obviously. So all that's got to come off, and then I can start, getting the forks out and send them in to get fixed. So yeah, completely different looking bike without the front end on it, but taking all that stuff makes it a lot easier to work on. I might have been able to do it with the front fairing on, but to get access to these bolts, it would have been a really tiny space to get in there, and I wouldn't be able to get the leverage that I probably need to get the bolts out. So yeah, so there she is, starting to look a little bit more naked. As I said, in the next video, I'll start working on the forks, getting the forks out on the front wheel off and all that type of stuff, and yeah, and then it'll be a waiting game for the forks to get done. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, if you like the content that I'm making, and there's much more content to come. As I said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.